Hello and welcome to English Talk, the podcast for people who feel insecure speaking English as a non-native at work. Join me and my guests as we chat about the challenges of speaking up in English when you're not only a native speaker but also a bit of an introvert. This week I'm joined by Caroline Moghimi. Caroline helps non-native speakers to improve their pronunciation, overcome limiting beliefs, and boost their self-esteem when speaking in German. So, Caroline, thank you so much for joining us today and speaking to us on this podcast. Now, as I just mentioned, we work with a similar type of person, but from opposite sides, because I'm working with non-natives with fear speaking English, and you're working with people overcoming a fear speaking German.
Yeah, that's true.
How did you start with that? What was your why, basically?
My why is quite big and deep. Well, I come from a corporate business world. I have always been an employer, and throughout the last, let's say, 6 years of my employment career, I worked with mostly migrants who came from any part of the world to Germany. And I accompanied them finding their way into their business life. And most of them were women, and I was quite impressed how fast and good they learned German.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also wondering why they are not as self-confident in speaking German when it comes to speaking up in front of a crowd or speaking with people they are not familiar with. So they used to be very shy,
Mm-hmm.
even though most of them are highly qualified, highly educated. They have a very huge life experience. They've got stories to tell, and they are more than welcome to find their job
Mm-hmm.
and to work in their profession they've learned. So I was wondering, why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I myself perceive an accent as friendly and the other one might be aggressive? And it was not a question only about my perception, but I used to go to different appointments with them together.
Mm-hmm.
And I observed this experience in their counterparts in their speak. And I was questioning what is happening in my German ear, in my German brain, that is triggering those emotions and reactions when we look at accents. So that was a very personal question
Mm-hmm.
with a business start, maybe.
Yeah.
And I found a training
Mm-hmm.
on pronunciation
Okay.
for language teachers. And that was something that I started doing. And I found my heart project. I found my heart topic within that, because I learned so much about my own mother tongue, how the rules are, how emotions are triggered, how emotions are developed throughout pronunciation, intonation, basically. And that was something that I wanted to give to the non-native speakers, because it's, for me, speaking German is something like playing a game. And if you don't know how to play the intonation game,
Yes.
and you don't know about the intonation rules, then you might not be as successful as you want to be in that game. And this is something that I found myself, yeah, I really enjoy working on the topic and with the people
Yeah.
that are benefiting from this knowledge. So that was my start in my business journey.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you mentioned right at the beginning there about accent, and this is obviously a key thing that you both market to and that people really want to change this this idea that you said that for you an accent is, I can't remember what you said, not charming, but it's friendly, it's warm. You have
Yeah, yeah.
accents to you are nice, but you're aware that your clients don't like, in some cases, their accent.
Yeah.
And are some assumptions by other people when they hear your accent and know you're from whichever country, they make assumptions about, I presume, intelligence, ability, friendliness.
Yeah, yeah. But it is even on a different level as well. They make also assumption about your political attitude.
Yeah.
When we have a look on the wars going on right now, I remember a woman from Colombia who told me I don't want to be forced with questions like, are you taking drugs, for example?
Okay.
Because as soon as people recognize your home country, they have some stereotypical thoughts about that, and these are projected on your identity, on your person, even though you have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
So it's there are different levels. I think in every language you have accents that you prefer, that you like, and that you are familiar with. And there are other accents that might trigger a fear or a negative feeling inside you, but you don't know where that comes from.
Yeah.
And I like to tell my students a little example. When we hear the Arabic accent, for example, for our ears, it sounds quite unfriendly, rough, and at some points aggressive, even though the person might be the friendliest person on earth, and it's not her intention to trigger those emotions, but it's a set of intonation patterns that are quite different to the patterns that we know and that we are familiar with our mother tongue. And that triggers a feeling of go away, for example, or I don't want to talk to you anymore. Why are you so blah, blah, blah? And the example is that the Arabic language, they pronounce the question word quite prominently.
Okay.
Whereas in German, we pronounce the verb in a question.
Okay. Yeah.
And that has a different reaction and a different kind of emotion that is underlying the way you pronounce questions. So when you go to Ausländerbehörde, for example, and that was the case that I experienced myself personally, and the person within Arabic accent says, "Why isn't that working?" And you as a German, you are more familiar with an intonation like, "Why isn't that working?" It's a total different way of feelings of emotions that are transferred the way you pronounce a question in that case.
Yeah.
And I like to give that extreme example in order to understand how important it is to have a sense and a feeling of pronunciation, of intonation, especially throughout speaking German.
That is fascinating, isn't it? So it means you need to be very sensitive, very in tune, because I presume you could theoretically have clients from all over the world. That's a lot of languages, a lot of different intonations. So I presume you need to listen closely to them and see what their speech pattern is doing, and then see how it's affecting you.
That's why how I started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly how I started. But when I was working with a lot of clients from all over the world, from all different mother tongues, I realized that I always start with one or two topics, with one or two fun phenomenons, and that is the intonation, word accent, how to pronounce the smallest pattern in a word,
Mm-hmm.
and the vowels.
Okay.
So that is basically the most important thing that I'm working with all my clients in different levels and in different depths for sure. But it's basically the most popular starting point for my work.
Now, I'm presuming that the people you're working with, as with often with my clients, is they can already speak.
Yeah, at a
Okay.
very high level.
This is the thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is something which is a bit of a mystery. It's for the higher level people with the higher level language seem to put so much more pressure on themselves to be perfect, to have this perfect accent, and to worry about people's reactions to them. I think it's a perfectionist thing. And
Yeah.
I mention this because these people can already speak, they're very intelligent people, and they seem to lose a link in their feeling, their understanding, not just with their head, that whatever language you're speaking, in whatever accent, the person you're speaking to another human being, and that person is going to be able to feel by the smile on your face, by the rest of your demeanor, that although your accent is different, you can tell they're not trying to do you any harm.
Yeah.
It's just a language. So how does that fit in?
Yeah. When I have my first calls with interested clients, for example, I ask them, why do you want to change your accent?
Mm-hmm.
And most people answer, because I want to speak perfect.
Yeah.
And my counter question is, why do you want to be perfect? You're speaking at such a high level. Most of my clients speak at least C1 level. So
Right.
it's very, very high. There is, everything is there. It's just a fear of speaking.
Mm.
And perfection. I was wondering if that is some German pattern that they want
Mm-hmm.
to dive into,
Mm-hmm.
or is it very their interest intrusive? Is that a word?
It's there.
Intrinsic? What's their motivation? Is it their own motivation of speaking perfectly German? And one of my goals is to crash that perfect.
This
perfectionism.
perfectionism in them.
Yeah,
This,
yeah. Because this is something that is not bringing you anywhere.
yeah,
It's just a very high obstacle. You will not do any better if you're just get stuck in the perfectionism. You need to speak in order to improve. And I want to create that mind shift
hmm
with my clients away from perfectionism to to a belief that I'm okay with my accent,
yeah,
but I'm doing anything that I can each day to improve, to
yeah.
improve.
So your clients are, so you're working at them also on a belief level
Yeah, yeah.
of their identity and that they are enough, they are okay.
Mhm.
But the exercises you do on pronunciation sort of help them do something else and not
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
change their beliefs. It's something not physical, but something it's like it's almost as if working on a belief isn't enough for them.
Mhm.
And if they work on two different aspects on their beliefs as well as making a little adjustment,
Yeah, absolutely.
then that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, I try to combine both elements, pronunciation training and personal development and yeah, let's say identity work.
Yeah.
And within my pronunciation training, since my clients are at such a high level, they don't hear and they don't feel, they are not aware of the differences
Mhm.
that between the correct pronunciation and the way they pronounce or they
Yeah.
speak. So I have to bring them on a different level. If they are not able to hear it, they have to feel it. So I do a lot of body work in
Mhm.
order to show what is happening in the German language when they are not able to hear it. So I use a lot of, let's say, clapping. I do exercises with the arms. Yeah, it can
Okay.
be very creative. Uh, it depends on the topics we are working on. But this is a way that they are able to unlock the fear of I'm not able to change anything because I'm not able to hear the difference. Now
Okay.
they are able to see it. Now they are able to feel it. And that creates something like a self-esteem boost
Mhm.
because they are no longer in this or behind the wall of I don't know what to do, I don't know what to change, but I have to be perfect. And now they know how to approach the change and the and how to improve their pronunciation. And they've got a new self-esteem, I would say. Yeah, they
Yeah.
are more likely to talk. They are
Yes.
freer, more spontaneous. And I like to give them exercises that encourage them in their daily life to speak up and to use every chance they get throughout their day to
Yeah.
improve and to create a new awareness on how they perceive themselves while speaking
Mm.
German.
Yeah.
And yeah, and to realize that the way they think they are perceived by others is mostly wrong.
Yes. That's key, isn't it? Because here you've mentioned awareness and these
Mhm.
exercises bringing awareness into their daily lives, which within coaching is a huge, I think awareness is probably it's probably the biggest part of coaching
Mhm.
because our clients aren't aware. They're
Yeah,
just stuck in a situation, in an anxiety, in a fear, in a, as you say, a prejudgment. They think that the other person thinks that they are X, Y, Z.
yeah.
And this awareness of what actually is going on for them. This is a
Mhm.
lot of what how I work with my clients is it's just so they can get it, they can tune in to what is it they actually think, feel, hear, when they're in this situation, when they suddenly get anxious speaking, what are they assuming? And I think that first step, and presuming your clients as well, on a weekly basis, a daily basis during the week, when they suddenly think, whoa, I just realized that I'm holding myself in a certain way. I'm tense, or I had that voice. I wasn't really aware, but whenever I meet this person and go into the situation, I got this voice in my head going, this self-talk saying, you're going to screw it up, you're going to make a mess, you're
Yeah.
useless, you can't. Look, they didn't understand
Right.
you. And see, you are bad. And this constant, and when they're aware, then they can start doing something about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it all starts with awareness, yeah, because we all have those limiting beliefs in our mind
Mm-hmm.
about ourselves, about our lives, about our language competences. And as long as those negative and limiting beliefs are such big, we are not able to change anything in our habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we have to crash them, we have to crack them, we have to change them into beliefs that are valuable for us, for our mindset, for our communication, for our relationships. And this is something that helps building up trust in ourselves, in our language competence, and that builds self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if somebody is introvert or extrovert. It's about the way they perceive themselves, the way they think about themselves. And I think another step that is quite important is to break down the big picture. I want to be perfect. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be perfect. You just might want to be perfect in a specific situation, and we
Yeah.
can work on that. You might want to be perfect on a telephone. You might want to be perfect in your job presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to work on that.
Yeah.
And that is a limiting amount of vocabulary, for example, that we are able to look at, that we are able to improve. And as soon as the body work starts getting into your brain and change the way you pronounce, for example, the words you use on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something like, I always take the picture of filling up a pool,
Mm-hmm.
and as soon as the pool is full, the wave swaps on all the vocabulary you have in your mind, in your brain. So it's just the little part of your daily communications that we are looking at, that we are improving, that
Yeah.
we are getting on a, let's say, perfect stage. But you don't have to pronounce every word correctly. Yeah, I'm a German native speaker and I don't pronounce every word correctly. I'm doing grammar mistakes and that's okay. But it's nothing that stops me from speaking, from
Yeah.
communicating.
This is a thing. I mean, I think this is a reoccurring point in almost every episode. Comes back to the same again and again, whether I'm speaking with native speakers or non-natives, people who speak multiple languages, people who are
Mhm.
actors, voiceovers, and we're all saying perfection is overrated.
Yeah.
Communication is key. And yes, it's okay to want to be perfect. And maybe perfection should be, whatever that is, should be
Mhm.
limited to a specific activity where you can script something.
Yeah.
Because as we're talking about language perfection, so we're not talking about communication perfection, that can only, I think, happen if it's scripted. And then you can do that. You can be perfect in that maybe 3-minute presentation, 20-minute presentation, whatever you're doing, but trying to achieve that in every conversation in your daily life
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
not feasible.
Yeah. And perfectionism is a stress factor
Yes.
that um, it hinders you from doing anything. Yeah, you won't finish your work because it's never perfect enough.
Yeah.
It's something like what's the English word? Lähmung. Äh,
My German's
Es
not that good today.
well, it keeps you quiet. It
Yes,
keeps you
okay.
um narcotic is the word that I was looking for. Yeah, it's kind of toxic if you overdose.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Perfectionism is good in certain aspects, and I always say that you have to thank your perfectionism for getting you where you are, but
Yes.
now it's time to let it go
Yeah.
and to activate it very sensibly
Yes,
in
exactly.
specific situations where you need to be perfect, where you need to have a perfect eye, for example, if you want to proofread something,
Yeah.
you um, you have to be aware that perfectionism is one of the biggest stress factors in your daily life.
It's exhausting. And
Yeah.
speaking to you now, I just had a thought. If you think of, if we all think of an average day in whatever language, whatever native language we're communicating in, can you imagine in your daily life, every second of a day, who, no matter who you're talking to, family, friends, if you had that pressure to speak perfect English, German, whatever your native tongue is, 100% of your day, can you imagine that to your parents or to your children, to your co-workers, your partner, even when you're cooking dinner, when you're
Mhm.
chilling out in front of a television? Um, all of that, can you imagine how stressful that would be if you put that pressure on yourself in your day?
Yeah.
Do that. No native speaker does that.
Yeah.
Yet put that pressure
It's
on
not
ourselves
worth, yeah.
at work.
Yeah. It's not worth putting all the energy on your perfectionism. It's worth putting your energy on building up an awareness. It's worth putting your energy on, yeah, train yourself.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh, but it's absolutely not worth uh, just looking at the mistakes you make.
exactly, exactly. So
Yeah, it's in ourselves, I guess.
it is,
Yeah,
isn't
of
it?
course, everyone wants to be perfect, but it's something that it's overrated.
It is.
Mhm.
Yeah, if even us teachers and coaches are not immune, and we know if even we can't overcome ourselves, then what hope is there? How do
Yeah,
we? Like it just
yeah,
shows that we all need coaches. We all need that person to
yeah,
say, remind us. "Oh, you remember that thing you were saying about perfection and how it was overrated?"
yeah. I think you have to give your clients an alternative to perfectionism. And they need to experience that perfectionism is not key in their daily life, but something else is.
Mm,
So, and everyone's different. Yeah. So maybe uh, we have to present different alternatives
mm,
to them in order to find their perfect fit.
mm,
What helps them to be more extroverted or to be more, yeah, self-confident in
mm,
speaking in the target language, but it's something very individual, and we have to break this up,
mm.
and
Yeah,
that it's all coming from our limiting beliefs, from our experiences, from our expectations. That's a big topic as well.
yes, yeah,
What do I experience? What do I expect from myself? And if we are able to make a shift in the way we think about ourselves, in the way we behave
yes,
throughout the day, then that is the most valuable solution in order to overcome our fears, in order to reach our goals. And I think it's very important not only to focus on fears, but rather to lift them up and
Yes.
to show them all the options, all the goals they are able to achieve when they are working
Yeah.
on their tasks.
And you mentioned limiting beliefs and how we all have them. Limiting beliefs are fascinating because we know the term, but what
Mhm.
we get seem to be completely blindsided by the fact that we have them.
Mhm.
Because you say similar, I think I've repeated myself already on this topic, but people say, yeah, be aware of your limiting beliefs when you say you can't do something. And we think, yes, it's okay for that person again.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I really do have this problem. I really do. This really is something I can't do. And we're completely blind to how often in a day we'll say, yeah, that's okay for that person, but I really do have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, one of a valuable belief might be I am the solution.
Yeah,
I always find a solution. Yeah, but you
exactly.
always have to remind yourself, I'm still dealing with limiting beliefs. There are new limiting beliefs evoking. There are deeper limiting beliefs coming up,
Mhm.
but I have to face them. I have to recognize them. I have to be aware of them
Yeah,
in order to change them. So we are not talking about the language competence, the language itself, very isolated. It's always connected to our personal development. It's always connected to our identity, from my perspective.
yeah,
Because if you're not allowing your accent to be part of your identity, then you perceive your accent as the opponent that has to be
different isn't enough.
deleted or
Mhm.
that has to be, yeah, destroyed in
Yeah,
order to become a new person. But yeah, in my experience is as soon as my clients accept their accent as part of their identity, they are open
yes,
for a change. They now focus their energy in a different direction, and they are not longer worried about their accent, their presumptions, the stereotypes that people might have on their accents, but rather than, yeah, using the energy, the new fresh energy,
yeah,
in improving themselves. And the improvement is not only limited to the language, to pronunciation, but it goes on every level in your life.
yeah,
It will have an effect on your relationships, on your business relationships, on the talks you have with your colleagues, with your clients, with your neighbor, the way you, yeah, the way you walk out the door, because you have a different body feeling.
yeah.
And that is key, I guess.
And I think this authenticity,
Yeah.
this acceptance of yourself as you are with this accent, is interesting that this is still a theme in today's society where there is so much more inclusion and awareness of so many different parts of who we are, from gender to different spectrum, ADAC, these type of aspects, to ability, to race, to culture. There is so much more um, acceptance and publicity to be who you are, and that's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
It's something as simple as an accent and where you were born, or
Mhm.
where your ancestry stems from, is still something we're having difficulty fully
Yeah.
embracing.
Yeah. But still, coming to my business focus again, of course, it is good to be understood well.
Of
Yeah,
course,
if you have a very strong accent and you this causes misunderstandings and people really don't understand what you're
of
saying,
course.
then it's the way to improve, but you
Yes.
don't have to let it go completely. You don't
Yeah.
have to speak 100% like a native German speaker. Yeah, but you need to be open to this part of your identity.
So, but what percentage of your clients have such a strong accent that they can't be
No,
understood?
no
No one.
one.
There you go.
No one.
My
And
actually,
that is something very interesting. When I had a lot of discovery calls in the beginning of last year, I remember, I talked to so many people, and I told them honestly, I have to clear my ears. I have to listen very carefully. I don't know what to do with you
yeah,
because your accent is so fine. It's fine tuning, but
yeah,
they still perceive it as something that is a big, big obstacle for them.
yes,
Yeah. So I think people come to me when they create the awareness that their accent might affect their success in life
yeah,
because they have their vocabulary, they know their grammar, they know how to speak, how to listen to, how to communicate in German society. And now they experience there is something else,
yeah,
why I'm not understood, why I come to situations that are similar, that I'm not feeling comfortable in.
mm,
It has to be my accent.
yeah,
Yeah, of course, there is some accent, but that is reducible, I would say,
yeah.
that we are able to work on. But it's more about the coaching part on your mindset rather than,
Yeah. Mindset and reframing, because I
yeah.
think if you can reframe the fact that my accent, the moment the mindset is my accent is bad, it's limiting, it's reducing my ability to communicate. Whereas in actual fact, you could look at it from a different way and think, okay, my accent makes me unique. It makes me memorable. It means people have to concentrate more on what I'm saying, which means I've got more attention. I've got more opportunities because I am memorable. If you're talking, if you're a salesperson and you've, as a client, spoken to 10 different people, which one are you going to remember? The nine who were, if you're in Germany, were German and sounded exactly the same, said the same thing, because salespeople often do, or the one that had a slight accent, was interesting, was a bit of a character, that's who you're going to remember. So I think when people have to concentrate a little bit more, as you said, as long as you are understandable, you could see this in a different way, that you are memorable, and that could be to your advantage when you get over yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Caroline, we need to wrap up in a minute. What would be your advice, your last thoughts on anyone with these issues, these challenges, speaking up?
Yeah, my advice is create an awareness, identify your limiting beliefs, look at you with a lovely eye, and then just do every day the best you can to improve yourself
Yeah,
on a holistic level.
yeah, great advice. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank
And
you for having me. Thanks for your
I'm
invitation.
sure we're going to be speaking a lot more in the future. And that's it for English Talk for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us, for listening in. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do find that rating button, give us a rating, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Goodbye for now.